others that are coming. And in the army.
God. So went over what again?
The captains of the tribes, and the armies, and who they were, and how much they were in the tribes. Okay.
Good. Any questions? Okay. Hi. Number 3rd chapter, 4th chapter, that's all. But we talk about the sons of Aharon and also the duties of the Levites. Numbers the 3rd chapter. Are you online yet or not?
Mm-hmm. Come.
All right. Pay attention. Numbers the 3rd chapter.
These also are the generations of Aharon and Mashah in the day that Yahweh spoke with Mashah in Mount Sinai. And these are the names of the sons of Aharon, Abihu and Eleazar and Ithamar. These are the names of the sons of Aharon, the priests, which were anointed whom he consecrated to minister in the priest's office. And Nadab and Abihu died before Yahweh when they offered strange fire before Yahweh in the wilderness of Sinai, and they had no children. And Eleazar and Ithamar ministered in the priest's office in the sight of Aharon their father. And Mashah spake unto Aharon, saying, Bring Shabaloyah near, and present them before Aharon the priest, that they may minister unto him. And they shall keep his charge, and the charge of the whole congregation before the tabernacle of the congregation, to do the service of the tabernacle. And they shall keep all the instruments of the tabernacle of the congregation, and the charge of the children of Yasha'Allah to do the service of the tabernacle.
So that means that all the stuff in the tabernacle was under their care. The menorah, the table, all the furniture that pertains to the temple was under their care and protection and custody. Okay. The altar, the Ark of the Covenant also was assigned to a specific family. Okay.
And thou shalt give the Levites unto Aharon and to his sons. They are wholly given unto him out of the children of Yasha'Allah. And thou shalt appoint Aharon and his sons.
So see that? So the Levites was given to Aharon and his son. So the Levites were working under the office of the priest. The Levites were working with the priests. They weren't just doing their own thing. So the priests directed the Levites, but all Levites weren't priests. Only the ones that came from Aaron's family were the priests. That's the only Torah mandated structural hierarchy that we have that especially pertains to genealogy. In other words, anybody could teach the Torah, anybody could teach the Bible, anybody could teach the history. But the Levites were ordered to teach the law, and the Levites were ordered to be under the priest in their duty as Levites. No other tribe had that type of charge. The Most High didn't say the tribe of the family of Zerah or the family of Paratzazah is under, okay, the tribe of Judah in their services. Okay, so the tribe of Levi, and that shows you how important the temple and the worship of the Most High, how important that was. That he has specific tribes with specific families assigned these special duties. Okay, you continue.
And thou shalt appoint Aharon and his sons, and they shall wait on their priest's office, and the stranger that cometh nigh shall be put to death. And Yahweh spake unto
say it again. Read that part again. Cometh nigh unto what? Let's see if you flow with what you're reading. The people that come nigh unto what?
Tabernacle.
Okay, so come near unto certain parts of the tabernacle. Everybody couldn't come. And that's why you want to get specific. Anybody could be a priest in the whole world. Anybody could be a priest. But not everybody can be a Kahan Yahweh. You see? When we say priest, what are we saying? In Spanish, we say sacerdote. Sacerdote is just somebody that dealt with holy, set-apart things. But when we talk about a Kahan, or a Cohen, a Kahan. Only one family on the entire earth could be a Cohen or could be a Kahan. And that was who? The sons of Aharon. Nobody else. So we have in these modern times now, people want to, you can set up a priest office fine as a Levite, but don't mistake being a priest in the office of Levi with being a Kahan in the office of a Levite. You know the difference? Because priest, we just made that word up. Sacerdote, we just made that word up. Them words don't exist in our language. But we understand that these are people that handle religious services. But when you go to being a priest or being a sacerdote, it doesn't mean nothing to us as Hebrews, because we deal with the ones that were in the service of Yahweh from the family of Aharon. Shabbat Shalom, Zaquan. We deal with the family of Aharon as our what? Zaquan, as our Kahanyam. Everybody understand the difference? Give me a nod. It's a difference. When you deal with Hebrew, you deal with something very different. Because very few words have a link back up to the original words. For example, mother and father, they do link back up to the Hebrew word Abba and Amma. Amater. Abather. Father, father. Okay? Mother, mother. Coming from Madu and Pater or Patu, Padu in Sanskrit. Those are East Indian Elamite words. Okay? But continue. I know y'all like that. He down here now is gonna be long. Ain't no more. That was. Right. Oh, go ahead.
And Yahweh spake unto Moshe, saying,
Who he speak to? Who's talking? Okay, read that again.
And Yahweh spake unto
Who's talking?
Yahweh.
There you. Everybody got that? Okay. All right, go ahead.
And Yahweh spake unto Moshe, saying, And I, behold, have taken Levites from among all the children of Yashala, instead of all the firstborn that openeth the matrix of the children of Yashala. Therefore, the Levites shall be mine.
So the Levites belong to Yahweh, meaning what? They have to be in his service. All right? They have to be in his service. Now, this goes into a deeper meaning of responsibilities that certain of us have in our works that we're trying to do. But if the Spirit haven't come on people to show them what that verse means and what they need to do, then it must not be for them. Okay, go ahead.
Because all the firstborn are mine. For on the day that I smote the firstborn in the land of Mount Zarium, I hallowed unto me all the firstborn of Yashala, both man and beast. Mine shall they be, I am Yahweh. And Yahweh spake unto Moshe in the wilderness of Sinai, saying, Number the children of Loyah after the house of their fathers, by their families. Every male from a month old and upwards shalt thou number them. And Moshe numbered them according to the word of Yahweh as he was commanded. And these were the sons of Levi by their names, Gershon and Kohath and Merari. And these are the names of the sons of Gershon by their families, Libni and Shimei. To the sons of Kohath by their family, Amram and Izahar, Hebron and Uziel. And the sons of Merari by their family, Mali and Mushi. These are the families of the Levites according to the house of their fathers. Of Gershon was the family of the Libnites and the family of the Shemites. These are the families of the Gershonites. These that were numbered of them according to the number of all the males from a month old and upward, even those that were numbered of them were 7,500. The families of the Gershonites shall pitch behind the tabernacle westward, and the tabernacle of the house of the father of the Gershonites shall be Elisha. Eliasaph, the son of Lael.
What verse you in?
Verse 25. And the charge of the sons of Gershon in the tabernacle of the congregation shall be the tabernacle, and the tent, the covering thereof, and the hanging of the door, the hanging for the door of the tabernacle of the congregation, and the hangings of the court, and the curtain for the door of the court, which is by the tabernacle, and by the altar round about, and the cords of it, for all the service thereof. And of Kohath was the family of the Amramites, and the family of the Izaharites, and the family of the Hebronites, and the family of the Uzzielites. These are the families of the Kohathites. And in the number of all the males from a month old and upward were 8,600 keeping the charge of the sanctuary.
You see that?
Okay.
So the minute you could walk, boy, you was expected to be doing it. You was counted among the people that was expected to keep that service. Wasn't no sitting around playing games all day because I'm 6 years old, I'm 5 years old now. You had to work as this Levite.
You got something to do.
You had something to do. Okay.
The families of the sons of Kohath shall pitch on the side of the tabernacle southward.
Shall pitch. Okay. Go ahead.
And the chief of the house of the father of the family of the Kohathites shall be Elizaphan, the son of Uzziel.
You see now, and this is the thing that we have to realize. Every time we look at the scriptures, the whole thing you read about in the Bible, from Genesis to Deuteronomy, is all based on your family. Your officer was from your family. Okay? Your Torah teacher was in your gates in your tribal territory or within your camp as you walk throughout the wilderness. And if anybody had any question or anything, you know, they had to leave out in their gates. Of course, we visited one another. And if I had a cousin, if my mother was from another tribe and I had a cousin from another tribe, I could go to their house and spend the night at their house or their tent while we were in the wilderness. And if I did an offense in that particular area and went back home, I would have to be called back to that gate, back to that camp to answer to their tribal leaders. So we had 12 tribes, but one nation. So what we're doing now in terms of camps and Knesset and communities is not something that we did in the Bible in the early days. This is something that we evolved into in the first century. Once we became kind of removed from the corporate body of Israel because we followed Yahushua HaMashiach and didn't follow after those that didn't believe in him anymore. So now we had a different structure we had set up. But now the whole nation of Israel had been dismantled. So why would we continue to follow a model that was put in place when our system was falling? Now we're in the process of rebuilding our system. And as we set up judges, officers, and elders and things of that nature, we have to also bear in mind these tribal families, that you're going to need tribal leaders. When we go into Revelation chapter 7, when it talks about the 144,000, it talks about 12,000 from each tribe of Israel, barring the tribe of Dan. All right. And when we read now, we see the tribe of our fathers. So we must constantly try to make affinity, try to make relationship with those people that are from our tribe. You're from a tribe of Judah, you roll with this brother and you deal with him on y'all tribal matters. You're from the tribe of Gad, you roll with this brother and his tribal matters. Okay, you a woman and your husband is from the tribe of Ephraim, well, you got to roll with how Ephraim do things because you pertain to that tribe now. Okay. You pertain to that tribe that your husband belong to. You pertain to the tribe that your father belonged to until you get married. You see? And then if your mother and if your father passes away, then you pertain unto the tribe that your mother married into. You see, these are things that get overlooked. Everybody, we're just talking about congregations and churches, but we forget about this is the ethnic thing. The whole Bible is set up about your ethnicity.
And the organizing in your ethnicity.
And the organizer in your ethnicity. Take his back. Take his hand out of my back. There's no sound coming out because he ain't talking.
Okay.
Go ahead. You like that, Shakata?
And their charge shall be the ark and the
What's their
table.
charge mean? Let's see who will understand what this word mean, you men. What's the charge mean? And this is what happened when we don't read in the Hebrew. That word charge there should in the Hebrew say shamar. So they were supposed to protect, to care for, and to preserve this. Everybody understand that? To what? Go look under the go look up there and get the kumash, the brown kumash. Okay, it's right where this was at up there. Okay, hurry up, please. Where we at? Verse
31.
31. Okay.
And
So they're charged, meaning they were entitled, they were entrusted to protect and preserve, to take care of this particular set of items. Go ahead.
And their charge shall be the ark and the table and the candlestick and the altar and the vessels of the sanctuary wherewith they minister, and the hanging and all the service thereof.
Okay, so this is the family of the Kohathites. So who is in charge of this? Shakata. You always ask about this, right? And then you be asking about this. The menorah. The family of Kohath was in charge of the menorah. Okay? When you see candlestick, what's a candlestick? A candlestick is some wax that has some paper going through it or some string going through it. You light it and it gives off fire. That's a candlestick, right? What the Bible talking about is not a candlestick. It's not a candlestick. It's an oil lamp. It's an oil lamp. So why the world they just could put oil lamp? Why you got to put candle? They see how people just lie for no reason?
Well, misdirect.
Why you got to put a candlestick? It had nothing to do with no candle. It was an oil lamp.
You know what an oil lamp looks like.
Yeah, you know what an oil lamp is.
When we say candlestick, you can't put the two together.
Right. Now imagine a big oil lamp that looks like this, or that looks like this right here, or that is that up there? A big oil lamp that looks like the menorah up here. That's what it looked like. You see? So this was something that they were in charge of, and this represented us as a people, because when the high priest, which came from the family of Aaron, or even Aaron himself, when he went into the Holy of Holies, what did he saw the menorah. And then what right after the menorah, what was next? Raise your hand. What was after the menorah? Some of y'all have read through this thing right here 20 times in your life so far. What was after the menorah? La'ah. What was after the menorah? I give you a hint. Shalash. I give you an English hint. 3. Right after the menorah was the curtains that had the 3 colors. The scarlet, the purple, and the blue. And after those curtains, what did you say? What did you say? That's when you get into the Holy of Holies now. Okay, so this was a very important job that they had. Okay.
And Eleazar, the son of Aharon the priest, verse 32, shall be chief over the chief of the Levites, and shall have the oversight of them, that they keep the charge of the sanctuary. Of Merari was the family of the Malites, the family of the Mushites. These are the families of Merari. And those that were numbered of them according to the number of all the males from a month old and upward were 6,200. And the chief of the house of the father of the families of Merari was Zuriel, the son of Abihail. These shall pitch on the side of the tabernacle northward, and under the custody of the charge of the son of Merari shall be the boards of the tabernacle, and the bars thereof, and the pillars thereof, and the sockets thereof, and all the vessels thereof, and all that serveth thereto. And the pillars of the courts run about, and their sockets, and their pins, and their cords. Verse 38. But those that encamp before the tabernacle toward the east, even before the tabernacle of the congregation eastward, shall be Mashah and Aharon and his sons, keeping the charge of the sanctuary, keeping the charge of the sanctuary for the charge of the children of Yasha'Allah.
So it says Washamartham. Okay? And the custody, the protection, the charge of, the Hebrew word here is shamar, is what I was telling you earlier. Okay, go ahead.
And the stranger that cometh nigh shall be put to death.
So any stranger that came near these things to try to mess with them got killed. See, the Most High was serious. The Most High didn't play no game. The mercy was you getting warned, hey, don't go near it, don't touch that thing. That was the mercy. The judgment was death when you transgressed it. You see? So even in our time, the mercy is corporal punishment when you commit adultery. The mercy is corporal punishment when you break the Sabbath. The mercy is not, okay, don't do it again. That's the warning that you're supposed to get before you do it, which everybody knows. The mercy is you don't get death. See, we mistake mercy and grace for being soft and for excusing and making justifications against sins that we commit. You see? You want anything to that?
Not right this second.
Okay. How about this second?
We don't take the Most High's law seriously because we don't understand or have not been given the fear of the consequences of breaking the law.
Man, that's deep. That's deep. You understand? That's deep. Just like I guarantee you, most children in here, will not do something that their parents got on them real hard about when they were younger. Okay? If my mother constantly told me when I was a child, don't talk back to me, don't back talk me, I'll smack you in your mouth, you talk back to me. Now, you understand, at 45 years old, I'm still not going to talk back to her because I know she instilled that respect in me by threatening to harm my body. It wasn't no bunch of talk. I will smack you in your face if you talk back to me, boy. Who you think you talking to? I'm your mother. You don't talk back to me. And her favorite word was contradict. I learned that word, boy, before I could probably talk. Don't contradict me. I didn't know what it meant, but I knew what not to do to keep hearing it. Don't contradict me, boy. Okay. So now the point I'm making is that, like the Zaquan said, we don't fear the consequences of these wicked things we do against the Most High because they don't have no consequences. And if it was just about you voluntarily, obeying it, the Most High would have said so. Wouldn't be no consequences for doing nothing wrong if that's the system the Most High wanted to have set up. So the mercy of Yahushua, the mercy of his sacrifice for our sin, does not mean that you go escape untouched for anything that you do. It means that you don't get the severity of that consequence, particularly if that severity for that consequence is maiming a member of your body or death. He showed us that with the woman. Yes. And he said, eye for eye, tooth for tooth, but I tell you to do this now. And he told us that the woman and what? Go and sin no more when she got caught in the act of adultery. Okay? So, if you want to be real about it, it's almost like instead of looking at, tell me which is more rational. A woman get convicted of adultery. They say she committed adultery, right? They accuse her of adultery. He who was without sin cast the first stone. Okay? And I want to just highlight these things because we're talking about doing things decently and in order and having a structure on how the Most High does things, even in this chapter we read now. All right? So if that person does something against these laws, the Most High said, what? Kill him. He went close to this tabernacle, to the candlestick. Kill him. But now Yahushua said, let he who is without sin cast the first stone. But then Yahushua also said, let he set those up that are least esteemed to judge. Yahushua, the Holy Spirit said that. Set those that are least esteemed to judge, meaning those ones that aren't exalted up, that are humble, be the judges. Those are the ones going to be most likely to be without sin. So let he who was without sin cast the first stone. What did casting the first stone symbolize? What does that mean? Cast the first. What does that mean? Ariasha? What does casting the first stone mean? Let he who is without sin cast the first stone. No. That's what does it mean though? Punish them how? By executing that person.
So that would be the first person to throw the first stone.
But he never said don't execute a judgment. He said don't kill the person. He said that he who is without sin cast the first stone. So the woman don't die. Does that mean she totally escaped judgment?
No.
Now what happens the second time around that she commits this capital offense? Is Yahushua going to say, okay, don't punish her, she without sin? It was almost like Yahushua is giving you a legal precedent for you get a get out of jail free card. No punishment, no consequence, no sin. I mean, no chastisement. No, you get a chastisement, but you don't get no consequence. Now, this is what we learning from this lesson. That's the grace right there. You gotta get out of jail free card for a capital offense, Amalia. Here we see that the verse that we just read that you got killed. No get out of jail free card, no mercy, no grace. See the difference? Everybody see the difference? So we can always go back to the Torah and we can see that we don't understand what we read in the New Testament. Why? Because we reading it after being in church for 50 years. We're not reading it after learning this Torah. If you go from the Torah and you come and then you go back to the so-called New Testament, you're going to understand what it means better. And you're going to see that the Most High.
You're going to see how it relates to the Torah.
Come.
That story and how you relate the judgment to the Torah.
Come.
But if you don't understand the Torah, you're not going to relate to any type of judgment that the Torah speaks to.
Come.
So basically, you're going to come from your emotions, and modern day society has taught you, which is totally against the Torah.
180 degrees. All right. Go ahead. Call your verse.
Verse 39.
Numbers 339.
All that were numbered of the Levites, which Mashah and Aharon numbered at the commandment of Yahweh, throughout their families, for all the males from a month old and upward, were 20 and 2,000. And Yahweh said unto Mashah, number all the firstborn of the males of the children of Yasha'Allah from a month old and upward. Levite for me, I am Yahweh, instead of all the firstborn among the children of Yasha'Allah, and the cattle of the Levites instead of the firstlings among the cattle of the children of Yasha'Allah. And Mashah numbered as Yahweh commanded him all the firstborn of the children of Yasha'Allah, and all the first males by the number of names from a month old and upward. Of those that were numbered of them were 20 and 2,203 score and 13. And Yahweh spake to Mashah, verse 44, Yahweh spake unto Mashah, saying, take the Levites instead, firstborn among all the children of Yasha'Allah, and the cattle of the Levites instead of their cattle, and the Levites shall be mine, I am Yahweh. Okay. And for those that are to be redeemed of the 203 score and 13 of the firstborn of the children of Yasha'Allah, which are more than the Levites, thou shalt take 5 shekels apiece by the pole.
5 shekels. Okay. And it's going into the shekels of a silver, which is a weight measure. Okay.
After the shekel of the sanctuary shalt thou take them. The shekel.
When it says shekel of a sanctuary, is letting you know that we had a central center of weights and measures. Weight measures and lengths. Okay, how much something weighed, what's the dry volume, what's the liquid volume, and what's the volume and distance. So we had that, and it was centered on where? It was centered on the temple. So it wasn't just, so that we had the original. This is an original type of metric system that was based on a standard, and this standard was kept at the temple. So how much is a shekel weigh? Well, let's go to the temple, make sure that your shekel lines up with the shekel in the temple. Okay, here we go over here. Here are the officers coming from their towns. We got to make sure we calibrate our weights and measures by the shekels at the temple. So this is a whole big system of government going on that people forget, man.
Right. Well, the weight of the shekel was to make sure that the ephod and the balance would be just for the they're launching at the marketplace, and it was the temple's duty to make sure that all balances and scales was weighed according to that shekel. It's fairly administered among all people.
But you're not going to understand that if you're not reading the whole law and thinking, okay, what does it mean the shekel according to the sanctuary, according to the temple?
And the standard has to be protected and upheld by who? The priests, the Levites. So if there was a discrepancy between purchaser and seller, the Levites would come in to first check to make sure the man's scales and ephod was correct.
Let me come out real quick with something. Levites have the right to usurp authority over anybody when it comes to a Torah violation, because let me rephrase that. Levi have a right, a duty to teach the law and make sure there's no infractions against the understanding of the law. So every Israelite school, every Israelite camp, organization, whatever, should have a Levite that they are teaching how to operate within the Torah to keep them in check, to keep their congregation, community in check, the whole nation in check. Yeah. How are you going to have a nation based on the Torah and you ain't raising up the keepers of the Torah?
To understand what they're supposed to upkeep.
You see? So we're supposed to have Levites teaching us the law. And they're supposed to step in like, hey, you wrong. You can't do that according to the Torah. Well, who are you? I'm Levi. That's who I am. I'm Levi.
This is my office.
This is my office. And the law says this, and this is how you're supposed to do it. Okay? Go ahead.
This shekel is 20 gerahs. Verse 48. Thou shalt...
1 shekel is 0.40 grams. 1 shekel is 0.40 grams. Ounces. 0.40 ounces. Okay? So 0.40 ounces. So a little under 14 grams, right? Yeah. I can tell you exactly if you give me a minute. So like 10.2, I think. It's 28 times 12. What's 28 times 4? 112, right? So it's 11.2. 11.2 grams. 11.2 grams, if that helps you. I don't know if that helps you anymore than ounces we just got finished dealing with. 0.4 ounces. Okay? In other words, if you was buying a bag of weed, no, I'm just playing. All right, so that's the shekel. Okay? 11.2 grams, 0.40 ounces. Okay? Okay.
Thou shalt give the money wherewith the odd number of them is to be redeemed, and unto Aharon and his sons. And Mashah took the redemption money of them that were over and above them that were redeemed by the Levites. Of the firstborn of the children of Yasha'Allah took he the money, 1,365 shekels, after the shekel of the sanctuary. And Mashah gave the money to them that were redeemed unto Aharon and to his sons according to the word of Yahweh, as Yahweh commanded Mashah.
And that money that they gave them was used for different purposes, for the temple, for the issues that they had to deal with. It wasn't given to them to give back to Israel. It was given to them. Okay. Go ahead.
Kala Sharan.
Kala Shara.
The Bar Yahweh.
The Bar Yahweh.
Na'asha.
Na'isha.
Wana Shemai.
Wana Shemai.
All that Yahweh has said.
All that Yahweh said.
What we doing here.
What we doing here? So we read about what in Numbers the 3rd chapter.
Yeah, Kahal, what do we read about Numbers 3rd chapter? And those 51 verses.
Levites.
Huh.
Read about the Levites and a census. We read about the census and Yahweh assigning duties to each of the families of the Levites.
Mm-hmm.
Huh.
Well, what's the most important thing that stands out to you in this chapter?
Anybody who approached, or any Gentile that approached Mashan Aharon's side of the tent was killed.
Well, now, when it says Gentile here, it's going into anybody that's not assigned that right to go there. Not just the people of the different nations. When we see struggle. What verse is that? Because that's the same language we see when the Most High says that only certain families can eat of the sacrifice, and He says no stranger shall eat thereof.
Right.
So it's talking about those people that's within that particular anybody. Yeah, anybody that's outside of that RSVP is gonna die.
Right. You don't have special privileges to go.
Okay, so I'm
Numbers the 4th chapter.
Oh, okay.
Read the verse 20.
It's 1 and 20?
Yeah.
Okay. You sure you don't want to read all 49 verses?
No. Stop at 20. Numbers 4 to verse 20.
Let all things be done decently and in order. All things. Go ahead. Read loud.
And Yahweh spake unto Mashan.
I said loud, man. That's not loud. Come on.
And Yahweh spake unto Mashan and unto Aharon, saying, Take the son of the sons of Kohath from among the sons of Levi, after their families, by the house of their fathers, from 30 years old and upward, even until 50 years
So
old.
for 30 years to upward, which is how many years? Nope. From 30 to 31 is how many years? Nope. From the time you from the time you begin at 30 to the time you change to being 31, how many years is that? Okay, so that's 30 to 31 is 1. That means it's a total of what? 11 years. Okay, if you fulfilling that full year, you got 30 to 31, 31 to 32, 32 to 33, 33 to 34, 34 to 35, 35 to 36, 36 to 37, 37 to 38, 38 to 39, 39 to 40. Okay, that would be 10 years. If you looking at the whole office, it would be 20 years. But if you count that first day, remember, sometimes we have to count that first day. So don't get in the habit of saying, okay, it's 1 year. Because if you're born, before the sun goes down, on the Sabbath, then when the Sabbath is over, you're 1 day old. So if you're born right now, and then the Sabbath sun goes down, you're 1 day old, and you're going into you're 2 days old now. Everybody understand that?
Mm-hmm.
So we don't count the same as other people. We count according to the days are differently than the years. Okay? So yeah, it would be a 20 years service time if he stops when he's 50 years old.
Right.
All right? But if he fulfills that full 50 years, then it'd be 21 years. All right, go ahead.
What verse you in?
It's 3. All that enter, go ahead.
All that enter into the host, to do the work of the tabernacle of the congregation. This shall be the service of the sons of Kohath in the tabernacle of the congregation, about the most holy things.
I'll read a little louder.
When the camp started forward,
And when?
And when the camp setteth forward, Aharon shall come, and his sons they shall take down the covering veil, and the ark of the testimony with them, and shall put thereon the covering of badger skin.
Well, you know that badger skin is going to a type of deer skin. Go ahead.
They shall spread over it a cloth wholly of blue, and shall put in the staffs thereof.
Now, it's a controversy on whether this blue in the Bible is talking about a blue or a purple. It's talking about a blue, not a violet, as a lot of brothers are trying to say. When you research these Hebrew words and you research the dyes and you research the dyeing process and you see archaeological remains of different fabrics that were dyed, different colors, then you can make an educated, give an educated opinion. As an elder, as a lay person, you can give your opinion on whatever, whenever. But as an elder, we have responsibilities to make sure that our opinions are backed up by facts.
Right.
As much as possible. And we've done the research to show that blue in the Bible is indeed a range of blue, from a light sky blue to a deep dark blue. All right. Now, whether or not you could get a shade of violet in between there, could you? From that blue, you might can get something that looked like a violet, but this was like a deviation from the extremes. One was light and one was dark, and not to mention the fact that the Most High already gave you what? Purple.
He gave you the color.
He gave you purple already. So when we read this blue, we say that's talking about a blue and violet. No, the Most High didn't give us 2 shades of violet or 2 shades of purple. And what happened, and even the red, right? The red was used, the color that was used to make the violet was also considered to be the color that was used to make the purple was also considered to be like what? A red purple, right? So you got a red purple and a red blue. I mean, you got a red purple and a violet blue. And you got red in the middle, crimson. Okay? So then when you blend those reds and when you blend that blue together, what do you get? Now you get the purple, now you get the violet, because those things are also naturally present in each of those natural bits, or biscuits and salmon patties, cornbread, or cornbread and greens, or cornbread and cabbage, and eating it, mushing it. My other grandmother mixing it together with her hands and eating it just like this, just putting it to her mouth, with her hand. So that bread every day that we see in the scripture was carried out into our Israelite families, and it's lasted for over 2,000 years. Over 2,000 years. All right, go ahead.
And put thereon the dishes and the spoons and the bowls and the covers to cover withal, and the continual bread shall be thereon. And they shall spread upon them a cloth of scarlet, and cover the same with the covering of badger skin, and shall put in the staves thereof. And they shall take a cloth of blue, and cover the candlestick of the light, and his lamps, and his tongs, and his snuff dishes, all the oil vessels thereof.
You see that? Why do I need oil vessels for a candlestick? You see that?
Candlestick.
That's showing you how it was a lamp. Okay, that's why they say the candlestick of the light and his lamps. The lamp was the upper chambers where you would put the wick at. The wick was like a little piece of string or cloth that actually would ignite the oil, and then it would give off a bright light. We've done it before. All right, we've done it before with this menorah up here. Put oil inside of it, and then get a little wick, and then with that wick, when it's on fire, it just sucks up the oil. And when you burn that olive oil, it makes like a black haze. A black film can get onto the ceiling wherever you burn it at. Okay. All right.
What verse you in?
Verse 9. wherewith they minister unto it. And they shall put it in all the vessels thereof within a covering of badger skin,
Mm-hmm.
and shall put it upon a bar,
Mm-hmm.
and upon the golden altar they shall spread it a cloth of blue,
So cloth of blue over the altar, go ahead.
cover it with a covering of badger skin.
So they had a piece of leather that was put on top of that. That badger skin going into a type of leather from a deer. Go ahead.
And shall put to the staves thereof. And they shall take all the instruments
Used for that particular item. Go ahead.
wherewith they minister in the sanctuary,
Mm-hmm.
and put them in a cloth of blue, and cover them with a covering of badger skin,
Mm-hmm.
and shall put them on a bar.
Go ahead.
And they shall take away the ashes from the altar, and spread a purple cloth thereon, and they shall put upon it the vessels thereof, wherewith they minister about it,
Mm-hmm.
even the censers, the flesh hooks, and the shovels.
The censers are the things they put the incense in. Okay? The flesh hooks are what they use in the pots when they were boiling the meat that the people had brought for sacrifices. Okay? And the shovels are what was used to get the incense or to get the ashes, all right, from the altar of the incense or from the altar of the sacrifices. Right, go ahead.
And the basins,
The basins are the big sinks, big tubs, right? That they would have things in, water, or to collected blood and things of that nature. Go ahead.
all the vessels of the altar,
Mm-hmm.
and they shall spread it upon it a covering of badger skin, and put it to the staves of it. And when Aharon and his sons have made an end of covering the sanctuary, all the vessels of the sanctuary, as the camp is set forward.
He said shalom to you.
Shalom, Tony. Good seeing you. Well,
Oh, that's for mine.
no.
Oh, that's sweet. Go ahead.
Go ahead.
After that, the
What
sons
verse you in?
is 15.
Read loud.
After that,
Louder.
the sons of Kohath
Louder.
shall come to bear it,
There you go. Be angry, but nice. Go ahead.
but they shall not touch any holy things, lest they die. These things are the burden of the sons of Kohath, and the tabernacle of the congregation, to the office of Eleazar the son of Aharon,
Mm-hmm.
the priest pertaineth the oil for the light, and the sweet incense, and the daily meat offering, and of the anointed oil, and the oversight of all the tabernacle, and of all that therein.
The oversight of all the tabernacles. So he had to watch over everything. And when you look at the word that they use for bishop in the so-called New Testament, that word right there means oversight. Episkopos. Whoever heard of epic, what's that called? The epics, no, I'm talking about Epcot Center. The epi means the center or the top of something, right? And then scope means to look over. So Episcopalian comes from episkopos. Episcopalian. Epi and scope. Scope is like, okay, you're looking at something. Epi is like the epicenter. That's the main part where the earthquake took place. So this oversight is an office to watch over